What is good, YouTube? Hopefully, we're having a good day. Welcome back to another episode of the DCTV CW podcast. I'm joined by Ben from the DCTV show. Declan McKinney from DC Central was unable to make it this week, so thanks, Ben, for coming on this week.
No problem. Glad to be back.
Yes, I'm glad to have you back, and hopefully try to get Declan on along with you next week, but we'll see how that goes. And yeah, so today I want to discuss. Okay, I've been wanting to talk about this all week since I watched the two episodes, The Flash and Arrow. Okay, so Ben, you literally just told me that you've only watched parts of Arrow, and before we begin, how does that even happen? Like, why don't you just like sit through the whole episode instead of watching half of it?
No, I've just been super busy this week. It's because, uni work. You've been to uni before.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like got really caught up with stuff. So,
Okay,
so I
so
was like watch half of it, and then I had to run, literally. So,
that makes
but
sense.
I'm definitely going to catch up for this week's Arrow. So no worries about that.
Okay, so yeah, you definitely should catch up with this week's Arrow because just like The Flash this week, I think this is one of Arrow's best ever episodes. It's not my favorite episode, of course. That's still season 5, the season 5 finale, Lee and you. That will never be topped for me. In my eyes, that's the greatest episode of all time. In my eyes. But yeah, this is definitely in my top 10 Arrow episodes of all time. And this week's episode of The Flash is also in my top 5 episode of the Flash of all time. Maybe even top 3. It might be even no, it's not number one. It's definitely not number one, but it's definitely in my top 5, top 3 episodes of the Flash of all time because it was that good. So
Okay.
since you have seen this week's episode of the Flash, we'll talk about that first. What did you think of this week's episode of the Flash?
Remind me what happened. I'm sort of blanking. I'm going
What
blank.
are you actually
Um,
serious? You don't remember what happened? This
no,
episode.
yeah, I'm just blanking. Wait,
Oh wow.
remind me.
Remember Barry.
Oh, The Last Temptation of Barry
Yeah,
Allen.
yeah,
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 my bad.
yeah.
I was thinking of the episode before. I was
Ah,
thinking of. Never mind. Yeah, I love this episode. I just had a blank spot right there where I was like, huh, what happened? But yeah, so it was like the part one of the mid-season finale,
yeah,
and I thought it was the best episode by far this
yeah.
season.
100%, 100%.
Um, like I really like this season. I think the season is pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
But like this episode, you had all this stuff going on, especially with Grant. Like his acting was like totally like actually insane.
Yeah,
How good it was. He was like breaking down. You get to see all these different visions of like what potentially the world could be like. You see like baby Nora and everything like that. And then how the episode ended. It ended with a massive bang,
mm-hmm.
and yeah, it was just like a really good episode. Just really worked on all accounts.
I
What
definitely,
about you?
yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree with literally everything you said. Like, as I said, this is my in my top 3 episodes of the entire series, and it's definitely the best episode this season so far. And I was gonna ask you which episode was better this week between Arrow and the Flash, but you haven't finished Arrow yet, so you can't really answer that
Yeah.
question. But with me, I really cannot. It's really tough. What I have to do is that I have to watch them both again, back to back, because
Okay.
I usually I only watch the episode once and then I'll just move on to the next week. But this time around, I have to watch it again because I can't. Because one, they're both very good, and two, I want to know which one I prefer. But at the moment, they're both neck and neck for me at the moment. But yeah, both of them were very good, very stellar. The acting in both of them were top notch. And in the Flash episode, it was very tense, especially towards the end. And I, going into the episode, I saw something online on Twitter saying that not necessarily spoiling it, but giving me an idea on how it ended because I saw on Twitter that there was a cliffhanger, so I knew that
Mm.
something big happened, and with the events of the episode, I kind of pieced together what that big cliffhanger was going to be. So obviously
Yeah.
I had an idea what was going to happen, but it was still very shocking nonetheless. It was still very tense in my opinion.
So, and then like when he actually like his lightning changed, that was I was literally was like, holy shit, this is so freaking cool.
Yeah.
That was my reaction.
Yes, definitely. So who was your MVP of the episode?
Well, it has to be Grant.
Yeah.
He freaking kills it. Like just everything he does.
Yeah.
Like especially when he's breaking down, and he's breaking down most of the episode. To be honest,
Yeah, definitely.
he's so good.
Yeah, for me, MVP obviously Grant again, and I think okay. So new question: this season of the Flash, in my opinion, has been its very best. Has been okay. Let me rephrase this. This season of the Flash has returned to its season one, season two glory days, in my opinion. So, with that being said, where would you rank this season of The Flash so far as it is amongst all seasons of The Flash?
Okay, so alright, if I was to do it right now, I haven't thought of this too much, but I can definitely do that right now. Season two's my favorite. Season one's my second favorite. They're really close. Like it flip flops, but
Yeah.
season two, then season one, number two,
Yeah.
then number three is season three,
Mm-hmm.
and then number four is season five. Number five is this season, and then the last one is season four.
Okay,
So
so
this would be
your
this would be
your second
fifth.
lowest. It kind of make
That's not a bad thing.
yeah. Well, it kind of makes sense because we're only what seven, eight episodes in or whatever. So
Yeah.
I assume by the end of the season it might be a bit higher, maybe. So, but for me, this season already has been better than the entirety of season 4 and 5, in my opinion. That's
Really? Oh,
yeah.
I really like season five.
Well, yeah, yeah. Season 5 was good, but I just feel like they just dragged the cicada storyline for too long. For me, the saving grace of season 5 was the Reverse Flash stuff. That was the saving grace of
Oh
it,
yeah.
because
Also, for me, I know lots of people ended up not liking it, but Nora, I loved Nora last season.
yeah, I liked her, but
Nora and Reverse Flash.
yeah, I liked Nora. I found her annoying at first, but then I warmed up to her. So yeah,
I always liked her.
yeah, I ended up liking her, but I wasn't crazy for her. But I will admit though, her death scene was very emotional, I think. Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, I think this season so far has been better than season 5 and 4, especially season 4. Season 4 was that was its lowest. That was its lowest.
Shite.
Yeah, yeah.
It
And
was bad.
yeah, it was bad. Let's say that. And Arrow. And speaking of season 4, Arrow season 4 was Arrow's worst season as
But
well. So
that's the worst DCTV season of anything.
I'm probably going to agree with you on that. But although I would say Legends season 1, I wasn't a big fan of either.
Twilight Legends
I
season
wasn't.
one.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the Vandal Savage storyline. It wasn't my thing at all. So I would say Arrow season 4 and Legend season 1 probably joint bottom for me. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But anyway, so how I would rank the seasons, I would say season 1 is my favorite one. Then season 2, and at the moment, I would say season 3 in third, and then season I forgot the season right now. Season 6, yeah, it's season 6, 4, but I feel like by the end of this season, it's gonna overtake season 3 because of how good it has been so far. So by the end of the season,
Okay.
I feel like it's gonna overtake season 3. But at the moment, season 3 is still third, and then season 5 in fifth. Wait, fifth? Wait, are we fifth and then fourth? Yes,
You're
fifth.
on the
So
sixth, right?
yeah. So there's six again. So fifth,
Okay.
and then season 4 will be six. Season 4 will be six. So that would be the last. That would be my least favorite. So yeah, that is how I would rank the seasons so far. Um, I just love this season so far because it's just like I said, it's returned to the glory days of season 1, season 2. It feels like the Flash again. Season 3 did feel like the Flash, but it did take a very dark turn. But season 4 and 5.
I like that though.
Yeah, I do. I like dark shows, and that's pretty much why Arrow is my favorite show. Well, not the only reason, but it helps. It helped the show, in my opinion. But yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. Now I just blanked. I blanked. Now I know how you felt just a few minutes ago. I just blanked out. What was I gonna say again regarding the Nora? Snap! I actually just blanked that in my mind. What was I gonna say? Wait, do you remember? Do you remember what I was saying?
I'm blanked as well. Sorry.
Uh, let me try. Okay, screw it. Let me say.
Start with
Let me say something else. Let me say something else. I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah. So overall, though, I would say this episode, I would probably give it a 9.5 out of 10. I'll probably give it a 9.5 out of 10, in my opinion. This episode. So what would you give it?
I think I would give it a 9 out of 10. That's like really good.
Yeah.
I think. I think maybe the only problem I had with the episode could have been
The side stories.
a few scenes. What was the side stories in the episode? Because I can only really think
Iris,
of the main story.
Iris's assistant figuring out. Hold on.
With Sherlock, right? No, Sherlock? With Nash.
Yes.
I was fine with that. Like, just a few scenes with blood work. Like, I think the actor's really good, but I think occasionally he drops off and goes a bit over the top. I don't know.
Okay. Fair enough. So you're not too fond of Nash Wells.
No, I like Nash Wells. I didn't say that. I said it was the blood work stuff.
Oh,
A few bits.
the blood work. Oh, I just heard Nash Wells and I just assumed that you said. So, wait. So what about the blood work stuff that you didn't like?
Oh no, I really liked it, but there was just a few scenes where I felt like Sendil, or however you say his name, just overacted a bit, and I was a bit taken out of it a few times. But for most of the episode, he was very good though.
Okay, fair enough. I I didn't really have any problems with this episode, to be honest. That's why it's ranked so highly. That's why I gave it a 9.5. I don't really know how it could have been improved. Yeah, so that's why it's just ranked so high. But I just love it because everything about it was very good. Even the side stories were okay. Even the side stories were good in my opinion. Usually, sometimes the side stories are just filler, even though they were kind of filler, but they were good filler, if that makes sense. Okay, so regarding Arrow now, let's move to Arrow briefly. You said you haven't watched it, so but you know spoilers, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
we can talk spoilers.
okay, cool. So obviously this episode was Arrow's take on Groundhog Day. And yeah, I love this episode. Just like I love the Flash episode. I like this episode just as much as I like the Flash. And actually, I did say that the Flash was 9.5. I'm going to bring it down to a 9 because I feel like Arrow was also a 9. I don't think Arrow was a 9.5. And I like them just equally, as I'd like them just the same. Like I said, I don't know which one's better, so I'll probably say, yeah, I'll bring the Flash down to 9 as well instead of 9.5. But yeah, I've spoiled my rating now. I did the rating early. Oh well, oh well, oh well.
Oh, wow.
Oh well. But yeah. Okay, now that we got the rating out of the way, let's so yeah, this was the Groundhog Day for Arrow. Flash did one, although I can barely remember it. Do you remember the Flash's Groundhog Day episode?
Yeah, I do because I like that one.
What was it about again?
That was the one when Nora kept on. I think she went back like maybe 52 times or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, and Cicada killed all the members of Team Flash
It
continually.
kills everyone one by one, and she's trying to fix it. And,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, yeah.
She kind of does.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah, now I remember. And also, Legends had their own Groundhog Day episode. Now that one is the one that I remember. Out of all of the Groundhog Day episodes, this is obviously my favorite one, and it's the best one. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased towards Arrow. I actually genuinely mean it, because it was just so, everything about it was just so great. I loved it, and I'm just gonna give a shout out to Katie Cassidy this season. She is the MVP of Arrow season 8. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Okay.
I feel like Katie Cassidy is the best actor or actress in in the show right now, and all of her emotional scenes this season so far have proven that. So, what do you think about Kate Cassidy so far in this season? And
Yeah, I think she's really good. Obviously, I think Steven's the best, but I think she's an easy second by far. So yeah, that's nothing to take away from her. She's amazing, like you said.
yeah, she is.
I really do agree. She's amazing.
Yeah, I would say Steven's second, but that's just and I'm only saying that that's just because Kay Cassidy, all of her emotional scenes this season have been very on point. Even though Stephen Amell still always and always will be my favorite TV actor, I still think Kay Cassidy is her scenes this season has just been so superb. So I applaud her for that. And also, this episode, we saw the return of Quentin Lance, and wow, I how much I miss Quentin. This episode just showed me how much I miss Quentin, and yeah, it was just such a joy to see him back. Where did you leave off? Where did you cut off the episode?
I watched just like bits of it, and for I know I saw like some of the Quentin bits. Um, I don't know. I definitely need to rewatch like the whole episode, but I know the gist of the episode.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, as I was saying, I was just saying it's just a joy to see Quentin back, and I miss the guy so much. Even though he's only been gone for like just over a year, but still, it's good to finally have his presence felt on the show. And he shared some very good scenes with Katie Cassidy, both Katie Cassidy and Stephen Amell, Oliver and Laurel, and it was very satisfying when Laurel finally got to say her final goodbye to Quentin. That was very emotional. It was just wonderful. And Katie Cassidy, I keep bringing her name up in this, but because she deserves it. She killed it in the scene just as Quentin killed it in the scene, and Oliver's scenes with Quentin, they were also very good as well. And yeah, so there was not much wrong about this episode actually. I don't really know. So technically, when I said my rating was a 9 and not a 9.5, if I don't really see anything wrong with it, really should be a 9.5. But I don't know. I just feel like there's a few episodes in the entire series that I like more than this one that I've rated higher. And I don't feel like this episode, even though it's one of my favorite episodes of the entire series, is as good as those ones. For example, the Lian Yu episode in the season 5 finale, that's my number one of all time. How do you pronounce that now? Slabside Redemption, yeah, in season 7. I think that episode is better than this one. What other episodes? The season 2 finale with Deathstroke.
That was very good.
Yeah, the episode titled Deathstroke in season 2. I think that was episode 18. That was very good as well. Actually, I think that episode is not as good as this one, but it was still, so I'll say this one was better than that one. But yeah, I'm gonna. I know I've done a video in the past listing out my top 5 Arrow episodes, but that was I can't remember if it was season. No. Yeah, that was in season 7. But so since then, we've had 2 new episodes that have entered into my top 10, top 5 list. So I'm gonna be doing another top 10, top 5 Arrow video somewhere down the line, probably close towards its series finale, but we'll see. But yeah, I will give this episode my final rating. I just don't know, 9 or 9.5. I don't know, because I don't really have anything. I don't really have any negatives towards this episode. But yeah, so I don't know. Obviously, you can't give your rating because you haven't seen the full
Yeah,
episode.
not yet.
So, but yeah, I think what is what I find very interesting though is the cliffhanger ending. And one thing Arrow has done very well this season, I feel like every episode has ended on a cliffhanger. I think. I
Yeah,
could, yeah,
most of them.
yeah. Maybe if maybe according to my memory, only one episode has not ended in a big hit cliffhanger, but other than that, every other episode has ended in a big cliffhanger. And this one is we are finally we see that the team, Oliver, Diggle, the whole team, including the future team Arrow, are on Lianu, and yes, and we don't know for what purpose they're on Liang, and obviously we're gonna find out. I haven't seen any of the trailers for this upcoming episode, so I really should do because I don't know. I like watching trailers, but yeah, it's very interesting to because essentially this is Arrow's series finale, like in the sense like we have Crisis straight after this episode. Then episode 9 is the setup for Green Arrow and the Canaries, which Oliver is not going to be in that episode at all, which is very ridiculous, I think. And then we have the actual series finale, which is which is essentially going to deal with the events after Crisis. So if you think about it, next week's episode is actually, in a way, a series finale, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's and what better way to end it than being on Lianu, where it all started. So I'm definitely very excited for that, and I have no idea what it's about, but I'm gonna watch the trailer straight after we finish recording this here, and yeah, so yeah, I'm I okay, so I think I'm I think I have decided what I will rate this episode, and I'm just gonna say it's a 9 because, like I said, there are episodes that I like more than this one, so I'll just rate it a 9. All right, so what did you guys think of both The Flash and Arrow this week? Which one did you prefer better between the two? Okay, that didn't make sense. Which one did you prefer better? That made no sense. Let me rephrase that. Which one did you prefer between the two? Let me know down below in the comments because for me they're both neck and neck, and I find it very strange that one episode of The Flash and one episode of Arrow in the same week have entered into my top episodes of those series in their entire existence. That's for me very amazing. I don't think it will ever happen again, to be honest with you. But yeah, what did you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. Thanks, Ben, for coming on this week. Hopefully, we can get you and Declan on next week. I think we've only had both of you on at the same time once this year, once this season, and that was the first podcast. So hopefully we can arrange something for next week where we can all do it. And yeah, I keep saying I'm trying to get more people on, but to be honest with you, I haven't actually approached anybody yet. I
Yeah,
aim
let's do it.
yeah, yeah. I aim to do it. Maybe okay, so let's set a target, yeah. Crisis is next week. Oh wait, when does it start? On Sunday, yeah, next week Sunday. So yeah, so not next week, not this coming week, but the week after. We'll try and do something big, but yeah, we'll see how that turns out. We'll see how that turns out. But yeah, anyway, thanks guys for listening. Like the video, share the video with your friends, subscribe to the channel and Ben's channel. I'll leave his link in the description. I'll see you guys later for more videos.